Hey guys, I'm back with the part 2 video of the video series on light, shadow and reflections class 6th science. In this video, we are going to learn in detail about how is a shadow formed. We all know what a shadow is, isn't it? So how is a shadow formed is what we are going to learn in this lesson. Not just that, we are also going to talk a bit about plane mirrors. So this is going to be super useful and super interesting. So stay with me and let's get started. So now you might be interested to know how is our image formed when we stand in front of the mirror. So let's have a look. So when we stand in front of the mirror, this is how our image is formed. So basically what happens is light falls on the mirror. So as you see here, light from the object. Now which is the object here? We are the object. So we are all illuminated objects. That is, when light falls on our body, we are able to reflect that light. So light from our body, it falls on the mirror. As you can see, the red lines represent the rays falling from our body to the mirror. So now when these rays of light falls on the mirror, what happens? Mirror is an opaque object, so it doesn't allow light to pass through it. So the light gets reflected because mirror is a shiny surface. So you see the green rays, they show how light gets reflected. Now if you look at these reflected rays, they are like diverging away from each other. They were spreading away from each other. But if you try to, locate them at a point, you will see that all these rays would seem to meet at a point, and this is the point where an image is formed. So in a very similar way, image is formed for us. You talk about any point of our body. So let's say the tip of your head. So the rays fall on the mirror, they get reflected. The reflected rays appear to meet at a point behind the mirror, and that is where the image is formed. And likewise, image is formed for each and every point on our body, which results in the formation of this complete image. So that's how image formation takes place in a plane mirror. So I hope that you must be glad now that you know how do you see yourself in the mirror. It is not a magic, it is just a simple science. Now, we have been talking about images, we have been talking about reflection. But have you ever noticed that with a lot of objects, images are not formed, rather shadows are formed. So whenever these objects are placed in presence of light, you see a black shadow being formed of that object. So what is this shadow and how are the shadows formed? So let's see, what is shadow? Well, shadow is nothing but a space where light is blocked by an opaque object. So whenever you have an object which doesn't allow light to pass through it, so what will happen? Some space will get blocked by that object. So let's look at this banner. So this pillar is blocking light. So light is able to pass through all these areas, but only this portion is blocking light, and that is why light is not able to reach only this part. So this part remains dark, and that dark part is seen as a shadow. So shadow is not an object, shadow is not an image. It is just that part where light could not reach. Light could not reach because it was blocked by an opaque object. Now shadows are also formed by translucent objects because translucent objects also partially allows light to pass through them. So some part of the light is also blocked by translucent objects, but the images formed by opaque objects are more clear and more distinct. So when you stand in the sun, you are able to see your shadow. So how do you see that shadow? Because our body is opaque. We do not allow light to pass through us. That's why we are not transparent, and that is why a shadow is formed behind us. And if you look at the shape of this shadow, it is quite similar to our shape because the shape of our body is not allowing light to pass. So only for that shape there is darkness behind, and that's how shadow is formed. So this shows that transparent objects can never form shadows because they allow light to pass through them. So there will be no dark area behind them. Now the question is, how exactly is a shadow formed? Now for shadow to form, two things are absolutely important. Light has to be present. In dark, shadows are not formed. An opaque or translucent object has to be present because if there is no object to block light, again shadows will not be formed. So let us look at this example. So here light falls on this object from the front, that is light falls on this person from front. Okay, so only the shape of this person doesn't allow light to pass through it. That is why you see that same portion as dark, because light couldn't reach here, and that is why shadow is formed. Now let us say if we take a torch and provide light from this direction over the shadow, what will happen? Will you still see the shadow? You will not be able to see shadow, because now light is able to reach this portion as well. So therefore shadows will only be formed in that area where there is no light, where light could not reach due to the presence of an opaque object. So if you have light coming from this direction as well as this direction, no shadow will be formed. So even though an opaque object is present in presence of light, shadows will not be formed, because there is no such area where light is completely blocked by an opaque object. So maybe this area light is blocked by this object, but from this side light is able to reach here. So shadows will not be formed. So shadows are basically the dark areas where light doesn't reach. Now, if instead of this person, if you replace this person with a glass slab, no shadow will be formed, because through glass slab light will be able to pass through it. So there will be no dark region behind. Now, when you look at the shapes of shadows, you will observe a lot of interesting stuffs. So let's say if you think of a ball, what is the shape of a ball? It's a sphere. But when you look at the shadow that is being formed by the ball, like what you are seeing right now on the screen, do you see a sphere? When I talk about the shape of the shadow, it's not a sphere, it looks like an ellipse. So it is not necessary that the shape of the shadow will be identical to the shape of the object. Look at this box. So the shape of the box is like a kind of a cuboid, but when you look at the shadow, shadow is just a rectangle. That's because when light is being provided, light is coming from this direction, so only this part of the box is not allowing light to pass through it. So that is why only this portion is dark, because light is not able to reach here, and that's why the shape of the shadow is a rectangle. Similarly, if light was falling from this face of the box, the shadow would have formed on the other side. So basically, it is what will be the shape of the shadow, that is determined by the direction in which light is falling on that object. It is also determined by the shape of the object, and it is also determined which face, from which angle are you looking at the shadow. So there are various factors on which the shape of the shadow is dependent. You look at this car. So the shadow which you see here is just kind of a rectangle. However, the shape of the car is very much different. That's because maybe light is falling from the top of the car. That is why this bottom part is that area where light is being blocked by this entire base of the car. So that is why the image is like that. Look at this grasshopper. So when you look at its shadow, you see it is very much different from the real picture of the grasshopper. So shadow will only be that area where light is not able to reach. Think of this flower vase. You can get many different shapes of shadows of this same flower vase just by changing the direction of light falling on the vase. So right now the light is falling in from this direction. So that is why you should see a shadow here. If light falls on this direction, then the shadow will be formed here. If light falls on this from front, the shadow will be formed at the back. So basically, depending on the direction from which light is incident on that object, also it determines where the shadow will be formed and what will be the shape of the shadows. So when we talk about shape of shadows, we see a lot of interesting shadows which are being formed with our hands. In fact, a lot of people know this beautiful art of making animals with their hands, making different postures with their hands, and when you look at their shadows, they look like some animals. You look at this, just with his two hands he is able to make a shadow which resembles a rabbit. Look at this, with two hands he is able to make something which looks like a flying bird. So that's how, you know, a lot of animals are being shown with shadows. So this is another interesting stuff. So basically, any object the shape of the object doesn't necessarily tell us what will be the shape of this shadow. So with one particular object, you can have multiple shapes of shadows. For example, if you talk about a cylinder, if the light falls on one surface, you might get a rectangle as shadow. If light falls on some other side, you might get a circle as a shadow. So it depends on the orientation of the incident light also. So now that we have discussed a lot of stuffs about light, we talked about shadows, we talked about images, we talked about reflection of light. So let us talk about something very interesting. We all know what is camera. We often use it to click pictures. Now, it seems to be something very complicated from inside, but we can also make a very simple camera, that is a pinhole camera, and it is so simple that you can even make it yourself. And do you know what is a pinhole camera? The name itself tells us pinhole. So it is a camera with one single hole, with one single very tiny aperture. And how it works, so let's say this is the object and this is the pinhole camera. So it is like a box which is completely dark inside except one hole. So there is just one single tiny hole, and inside the box it is completely dark. So when you look through this hole, light rays from an object will enter through this hole and it will create an image, but the image would be inverted. That inverted image will be created on the opposite face of the box. So it is like this box, as you can see here, this is the tree, and the light enters through this small pinhole, and then an inverted image is created on the opposite face of the box. So this is how a pinhole camera works. So if you want to construct a pinhole camera, again it is very simple. All we need to ensure that there is a box inside with completely black interior with a tiny hole. So in this camera, in pinhole camera, there is no lens involved. So it is very simple, as light from the object passes through the tiny hole and it projects an inverted image on the opposite side of the box. So let us see how can we make a pinhole camera. So for this, all you need a box like this in the shape of a cuboid, maybe this kind of a box. So you take this box, you keep one side open. So this side of the box is open. Okay, so one side is open, this side is closed, and here you make a tiny hole. So you have a hole here. So this acts as the pinhole. So that's how you arrange this box. Now this box has to be slightly bigger in size. Now you take another box which is slightly smaller than this box, and the difference in sizes should be such that the smaller box should exactly fit inside the bigger box, and you should be able to move the smaller box inside the bigger box. So this box also, you keep it open. Now for this box, what you do is you cut in the shape of a rectangle here, as you see. So this portion is cut, and then this portion is covered with a photographic film or a transparent film. So you just paste a photographic film or a transparent film here, right? And now what you have to do, you put this smaller box inside the bigger box. Make sure that the smaller box fits exactly within the bigger box. And now you can move the smaller box, you can adjust the smaller box to see the image. And where will you see the image? You will be able to see the image on this film which you have attached here. Because remember the concept of pinhole camera, light from any object will enter through this hole and it will project an inverted image on the other face, and the other face for this hole would be this face. So here it will form that image on this tiny screen. So on this screen you will be able to see an inverted image. So now as you keep moving the smaller box, as you keep bring it near to your eyes or take it away from your eyes, you will be able to see the size of the image also is changing. So that's how you can get a feel of a pinhole camera, and it is very simple to create it. In fact, you can create it at your home itself. You do not need a lot of stuffs. You just need 2 boxes of these kinds which you can make using cardboards, and just make a tiny hole in one and cut a square and put a thin film on the other one, and with that you can actually visualize or experience a pinhole camera. So with this we have reached towards the end of this lesson. So let us quickly look at some of the questions. Question number 1. Rearrange the boxes given below to make a sentence that helps us understand opaque objects. So here you have different parts of words. So as you can see here, so one thing that is very clearly visible is opaque. So this is opaque, this is objects. So this makes opaque, this makes objects, and then you have M left out here. Here you have AKE. So this M and this AKE, these will combine together to form make. And then you have shadows. So these will combine together to form shadows. So what you can write, you can say opaque objects make shadows. So that's a meaningful sentence. Question number 2. Classify the objects or materials given below as opaque, transparent or translucent, and luminous or non-luminous. So what is opaque? That object which doesn't allow light to pass through it. So looking at this picture, which object do you think would be opaque? The rock pieces, yes, it would be opaque. It doesn't allow light to pass through it. You talk about this wooden block, again this would also be opaque. You talk about a mirror, that is also opaque. That is why all the light gets reflected and image formation happens. You talk about a CD, that also is opaque. What else is opaque? You talk about this aluminium sheet, this is also opaque. So all of these are opaque. You talk about transparent. Transparent means that object which allows light to completely pass through it. So if you look at water, water is transparent because it, you can see other objects through water. When you talk about air, air is again transparent because through air you can see other objects. Had you not been able to see through air, in that case you would have not been able to see anything around yourself. You talk about a polythene sheet. So this is a polythene sheet. So when you look at a polythene sheet, most of them appear very clean and transparent. So that is also going to be a transparent object. Let's look at few more objects, as you can see here. So here again, if you look at it, you have the wall. So the wall appears to be opaque because it doesn't allow light to pass through it. You think of the umbrella. Umbrella again is opaque because it doesn't allow light to pass through it completely. You talk about a piece of, say, red hot iron. So what happens to red hot iron? It is able to produce its own light. That's when it becomes red hot. It is able to produce its own light. So basically this red hot iron would be a luminous object because it has its own light. You talk about a sheet of plain glass like this. So that is going to be transparent because it allows light to pass through it. You talk about fog. What happens when it's a foggy morning? Is it that you are not able to see anything through it? Not really. You are able to see things, but everything appears hazy. That's because fog is translucent. It is neither transparent nor opaque. Similarly, when you talk about smoke, smoke is also translucent because you are able to see other objects through smoke, but not very clearly. So you get an unclear or hazy display. So that's why it is translucent. You talk about a lighted fluorescent tube. So this is again an object which is able to produce its own light. So it is a luminous object. A few more objects here where you have a sheet of carbon paper. What kind of object would it be? It is definitely an opaque object because light cannot pass through it. Looking at the flame of the gas burner. So this flame of the gas burner is obviously luminous because it is able to produce its own light. When you talk about something like the wire mesh, you look at these wire mesh. What are they? They are transparent because through them you are able to see the objects on the other side, and at the same time these are non-luminous. They do not produce any light of their own. You talk about a kerosene stove. So the kerosene stove again is a luminous object because it is able to produce its own light. You talk about the sun, it is luminous object, it has its own light. But when you talk about the moon, it is non-luminous object because it reflects the light that it receives from the sun. So it is an illuminated object or non-luminous object. You think of a firefly. Firefly is able to produce its own light, so it is luminous object. Think of a torch. So lighted torch also produces its own light, so it is again a luminous object. You think of the cellophane paper. So the cellophane papers are transparent objects, but they are non-luminous because they do not produce any light of their own. You think of cardboard sheet. So the cardboard sheet, they are opaque objects, and of course they are non-luminous because they do not have any light of their own. So that's how you can classify the objects that you see around yourself into opaque, transparent or translucent, as well as into luminous and non-luminous objects. Question number 3. Can you think of creating a shape that would give a circular shadow if held in one way and a rectangular shadow if held in another way? So let's think of the example of a cylinder. So if you look at a cylinder, you have a circular face at one end and you have this rectangular face on the other. So if light falls on this face of the cylinder, the shadow that is formed is rectangular because this face of the cylinder doesn't allow light to pass through it. So you get a rectangular shadow here. But if you hold the same cylinder in this fashion such that the circular part of the cylinder is in this direction and the light is falling on the circular part of the cylinder, so in that case, since this portion of the cylinder is blocking light, so this portion will remain dark, and that's how a circular shadow will be formed. So you can actually look at various objects which give different shapes of shadows because of the way light falls on them. Question number 4. In a completely dark room, if you hold up a mirror in front of you, will you see a reflection of yourself in the mirror? Of course not, because light is very much needed for reflection to take place. So if there is no light, what will happen? No light will actually fall on the mirror. So there will be no bouncing back of light. So there will be no image formation, and therefore we will not see our reflection in the mirror.
So my dear children, how did you like the video? If you have an experience to share with me, do let me know in the comment section. And if you really like the video, do not forget to share it with your friends too, so that they can also enjoy this video. I will meet you all very soon with a new video, with a new topic. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.